Hello, everybody. It's so glad to see you again here on the virtual platform. And I'm going to talk about the Simone de Beauvoir's Introduction to the Second Sex. This I have already taught in the class, but still I just thought I should give you a more comprehensive idea of certain ideas which comes in the text. First, let's see the theme. What does the author talk about? Why is she much interested in writing about this particular piece of work, the second sex? Who does she mean or refer to as the second sex? She being the lady, why couldn't she think of herself as the first sex and she thought but as the second sex? See, there are many questions at the end of the essay. If you complete reading it over and over, you will have many realizations like we actually are at fault at one point. We, in the sense like we humans, we as a females, as a woman, we are at fault because we agree to the social condition or to the social construct that we are the second class citizens or second sex. All right. So, but this is my point of view, but I'll just move on to the theme. The basic argument of the second sex is that women has historically been oppressed by men. If you look at the history, over the ages, we can see, except rarest of the rare, except few um, exceptionals. In most cases, you can see female gender or women as a suppressed community, or oppressed by men community, dominated by men of the society, men of the workplace, men at home. More specifically, women have been relegated to the status of object or other and so lack independence. And she says that it's actually her concern. She talks that women has been relegated to the status of object. I mean, the woman or a woman or any woman for that matter is never considered as a human being but as an object. All right. Or as the other, not the self. You understand? Self is mine, but the other is the other one. And so lack independence. Since because women has been a subordinate to men, uh, she lacks independence. That is her observation. And Simone de Beauvoir was a French philosopher and most notably associated with her contribution in feminist studies. Yeah. Her work is grounded in the philosophical project of exploring the lived experience of women, the birth of patriarchy, and how male superiority has been legitimized and propagated in our culture. In the sense, like as I told you in the beginning, the society has accepted men as the dominant position and women as the subordinate position. And I say that society includes men and women. I mean, at one point, we accept the fact that we are the subordinate position. And that's what she says. So she is one of the leading figures within the strand of thought known as socialist feminism. As the term implies, this approach seeks to highlight the problems inherent within patriarchy and capitalism. All right. Because when you talk about feminism, you talk about politics and feminism, or how political system suppress female or women, and you can talk about economic suppression, how females or women are not given the financial freedom at home. That's actually called economic suppression uh, faced by females, political suppression, societal roles. Not everybody in the world is given, not every woman in the world is given a dominant role. So these are major issues that's discussed here in this particular essay. Okay. So the historical context of this particular introduction to the second sex was written in 1949 by a French intellectual, writer, and existentialist thinker. And she did not consider herself as a philosopher. Additionally, she wrote novels, essays, and autobiographies. See, philosophizing or philosopher stops only with philosophizing. He cannot be creative. Rather, this writer, Simone de Beauvoir, ended up writing more. She was critical as well as she was creative. All right. She was also known for lifelong relationship with Jean-Paul Sartre. So she earned a BA in mathematics and philosophy in 1925. And but why did she come? How did she end up writing feminism? Being a mathematics graduate, that's a question to wonder, to ponder. But if you look at the history, most French mathematicians are philosophers. That includes Nietzsche. Continue to study mathematics at Institut Catholique de Paris as well as literature languages at the Institut Saint Maria. And later she studied philosophy at Sorbonne, where she was the ninth woman to receive the degree from Sorbonne. So she was the ninth person to receive the degree. This is the historical context. And of course, duality of sexes. This is about the work. What is it given in the work? Within the history of philosophy, male is a rational being, rational thinking, the ability to think. The female deviates from the male. Fine. Male is different from female or female or different from male. That's what the second sentence means. But there's a question in the first one. Male is a rational being. Do we have to consider or do we have to take it like women are not rational? They can't think. So there are many questions out of this particular statement. And Thomas Aquinas says that female is an imperfect male. And he says that female is none, it's a definition of a female. Female is nobody but the imperfect male. Again, there's a question. So can we consider, or does it mean that all male are perfect? I don't think so. Traditional understanding, male, rationality, culture, mind, soul, psyche, role, govern family, social, and political rights. So, what a male can be rational, male can have the cultural mind, soul, and psychic role to play, and he can govern the family, he can govern the society, he can govern the take major complications or complicated roles in political arena. Whereas female talks about nature, talks about emotions, talks about feelings, suppressions, either bear or rear children. This is the role. So physical, psychological, social roles of man and woman are defined here. Okay. Now this is the most important thing in this entire text. Essence precedes existence. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by essence? And what do you mean by existence? One. It's actually a central claim to existentialism, which means to say the survival thing is called existentialism. So existence precedes essence. We are born with purpose or without purpose. That's actually the statement here. We simply exist for no apparent reason. Do we have a purpose or do we have a purposeful life? So this question is all about existentialism. But essence is different. Okay, that's like purpose. So this is a big question in the work of this particular text. Where does the essence of woman come from? There is one particular phrase in this particular text. Woman is from womb. Womb means uterus. Which means a woman has uterus. That's why she is called a woman. See, man, woman are biologically different, and so they are psychologically different, and so they are socially different. See, the difference of the role, different role of female and male emerges from the biological difference. That's a basic understanding. As I was telling on the other day, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. We are biologically different, and so our thinking will be certainly different. Our act, reaction, behavior, all will be different. It does. They we don't have to be the same person because the basics, which is the biology, is different. And two perspectives. There are two perspectives to this particular statement. One is female embodiment anatomy is one, the eternal feminine. Anatomy predestines women and men to fulfill certain roles. As I said, we have a equally important but different social roles to play. Women are thus essentially different from men. Women's essence, women have certain attributes, all women everywhere and at every time. Okay. And female embodiment, dualistic theories of sexual difference, biological existentialism. Women are essentially different from men due to their hormones. As I was telling you, biology is the most basic change. And of course, which leads to cognitive, morality, values, principles, everything. Just one hormone, one DNA changes everything. All right. Because we have a field of study called gender and language. The way men think, the way women think about one particular issue. The way men face an issue will be lighter than a woman faces an issue. The way men talk about gossip, the men gossip is different from the women's gossip. So everything else, everything in the world is so different as because the men's world is different from the women's world. Okay, that's simple. So example includes less rational, less morally accountable, less mature, more emotional. Women are more emotional according to this statement. So where does woman come from? Concept of woman is real, but not due to essence to deny the reality in an inauthentic fight. Flight. Femininity is historical and social situation. And what did Sartre say about existential situations? What is one situations? Say, for example, when she talks about situations like how things, context, how things takes place, and how we handle things are different from the rest. Okay. If you read the text, it's very, very interesting to read the entire text. Woman as the other. Why is he not called the self? Why is she called the other? Why he is not called the other? Why she is not called the self? See, the priority or the preference or the privilege is given to men only. Why? Because as Bible says, God created men first. All right. And I have a question. Why did God create men? Okay. And he says he is subject and he is absolute. She is the other. I mean, according to this theory, according to that few theories, he is a subject. He is the entire world. I mean, the presence of the entire universe is he, whereas she is the other or subordinate. Category of the other, alterity originates with consciousness self. A fundamental hostility to any other consciousness is found in consciousness itself as the essential and sets up other inessential as the object. So he says, or the critic says, men are essential, women are inessential as the object, and that's why they are called as the object. Okay, so just to, it's a very short clips. So where does she stand? Simone de Beauvoir, to decline to be the other. She says, I want to decline what the world says. She doesn't want to be the other, or she refuses to be the other, or she denies the statement that she is the other. To refuse to be a party to the deal, this would be for women to renounce all the advantages conferred upon them. Indeed, along with the ethical urge of each individual to affirm his subjective existence, there is also the temptation to forego liberty and become a thief. She says she can even take the strong stand by compromising the liberty, and she wants to be the essence of the entire universe, which means to say she wants to be the central focal point of the entire universe. See, our Hindu mythology or Hinduism says Shakti predominates the universe, whereas the Western's concept says male. Okay, but that's very mm, theological approach to the study, literary study, but we are not going to do that. So this is the other introduction to the second sex. She says she feels sorry for the state of women, that women are considered the second citizen, not second class, but second citizen as the other. All right. So this is what is all about. Bye bye. Thank you.